My name is Carson. Welcome to Thrifty Garage, a channel where we do everyday repairs, how-tos, and reviews. In today's video, I'm just wrapping up a snow removal event for my landscape business. Thought I'd talk about buying plows. This has been a video I've been wanting to do for a while now. And I apologize, I've got my phone, which will be a lot of my notes. When I buy a big purchase, I always put it in an Excel sheet. I go to multiple different vendors and get different pricing. In this case, I looked at many different plows and also different types of plows. And maybe we'll split this off and do a separate video on salters. So I have a SnowEx plow on my truck. I'm going to talk about why I picked that plow in particular. And I also have a SnowEx salter, a tailgate salter on the rear hitch of the truck. So when it comes to plows, there's three main different types of plows. The original plow that kind of started it all would be what you'd probably call a straight blade. It's what you see on a lot of ATVs, RZR side-by-sides, just a straight single blade. A lot of the old plow trucks also just have a straight single blade. Kind of the next step up from there in technology would be a V-Plow. So a V-Plow you can have in a scoop mode or in a V mode. Kind of like what you see on a train. And then lastly, there's a whiteout or power plow type plow, where it's basically a straight plow with extendable wings that can move into a scoop mode. And I'll try and drop some pictures in there so you can see what exactly I'm talking about. Keep in mind when you're looking to buy a plow, those are three things you want to look at. For me, a V-Plow is best purposed for a driveway or a long road. And the reason for that being, if you use a straight blade on let's say you're on a mountain road and you're trying to plow going uphill and you've got your blade angled, well, when you have a lot of snow, that angle actually will push the truck in the opposite direction. So if you're angling it in a manner in which it wants to push you off of a switchback on a hill, that could be a problem. Whereas if you have a V-Plow, you can actually use it in the V position and drive through pretty heavy amounts of snow, and it's just dividing that snow in half, and it's allowing you to blaze your trail ahead. So in my experience, V-Plow is best purposed for that. I know a lot of commercial guys run V-Plows. I personally don't like V-Plows in a heavy snow situation for commercial snow removal. I would probably recommend doing a power plow in that situation. So if you get multiple storms 6 inches or more, then probably a whiteout or a power plow is a good way to go for you. And I think there's just more scooping power there and also more versatility in the plow. A lot of times in those parking lots that you're plowing, you are doing windrowing. So you've got, with a whiteout plow, you can have one wing in the scoop position and then the other wing in the out position, and so that helps discharge all of your snow to whatever side you're pushing it in the parking lot. So that works really well for there. I actually opted to go with a straight blade, partially for cost, but also because living in the Midwest now, you know, coming from the West and now in the Midwest, there's not as much snow. Most of our events are actually ice melt and salt applications, and because we normally get ice storms. So having a plow is important because if there is accumulation, I need to have the ability to scrape that before I apply ice melt. But I'm not plowing a significant amount of snow. So when I'm plowing with a straight blade, the chance of it running off into the lane that I've already plowed is a lot lower because the pileup in the plow is much less. So partially due to cost, saved me probably a couple grand going a straight blade, but also just out of necessity, it just wasn't really a need. There is extra maintenance that comes with those extra moving parts too, so that's also to be considered. So with that said, in my application, I didn't really see a reason to look at V-Plows. So when I priced these out, I priced out straight blade and a whiteout type of plow. So for SnowEx, they offer a 7'6", 8', 8'6", and 9' straight blade, as well as they offer an 8100 power plow and a 8611 power plow. So the 8611 power plow, I believe, goes from 8'6" wide in the collapsed position and up to 11 foot wide in the expanded position. So that's a pretty big difference. So their biggest straight blade, and probably the biggest straight blade you're gonna find for most places, is a 9 foot wide. Just simply because that's how I think road widths are about 10 foot, maybe 12 foot. Most parking stalls are 9 by 18. So if you think about, you know, fitting a plow in a parking spot, a 9-foot blade is really pretty wide. So in the collapse position, it's 9 foot, and then it expands up another 3 feet. That does give you a lot of additional pushing power. Prices that I found for a SnowEx straight blade for the 7'6" were about $5,300. For the 8 foot, we're about $5,400. For the 8.5 foot, we're about $5,550. And for the 9 foot straight, we're about $5,900. There were some discounts offered to me for plows that were left in inventory in stock over last season into this season, as well as pretty standard install costs is gonna be about $500. In my case, it was $525. So there's our cost for the straight blade. Now the cost for the 8100 power plow was $7,650. Like I said, that's nearly a $2,000 jump for the extra 3 feet. So you have to decide whether that's worth it for you. Okay, in comparison to the SnowEx, we've also got the Salt Dog. They've got the TE2-80, and for their 8-foot plow, you're looking at just over $5,000 with an install of just shy of $1,000, $975. So mounted and installed, we're looking at $6,053 for an 8-foot, whereas I ended up going with the 8'6" straight blade installed for exactly the same price. So I got an extra 6 inches for the same price over the Salt Dog. Okay, next up we got the Western plow. Western has a 7'6" straight blade, and just so you know, Western and SnowEx are basically the same brand. They've got the same controller, same setup, basically just a different color, different brand on them. And they are a regional, so depending on your region and your suppliers in your region, may depend on which plow you go with, but they're essentially the same plow. So I went with the SnowEx because the dealer support was better in my area. The cost for Western was $5,300 for a 7'6", and then $1,000 install for a total of $6,300. So about $250 more than what I paid for mine. Next we've got a Hinneker or Meyer. I apologize if I'm pronouncing these wrong. I haven't used all these plows or these companies in the past. So an 8-foot Meyer plow is $5,850, and I don't have an install price for that one. So there's a quick rundown of different costs. Again, these were from several different local vendors, trucking centers, and whatnot. I did find that Stork's Plows did have pricing on all these, and they were right in the same realm. They were actually a little bit cheaper in most cases, but they're not local support. It might be a good place to order parts from and have them shipped if you need parts. If your local company or your local supplier is not good support with that. But it'd be really hard for Stork's Plow to install a plow for me. So if I wanted to buy a plow kit, have it shipped here, if I had the ability to unload it and install it myself, I might save myself $500. To me, the $500 wasn't worth the savings. Am I capable? Absolutely. I mean, you've seen on the channel here, I do a lot of stuff DIY. It really wouldn't be out of my wheelhouse. But before I chose my shop to install it, like I said, I reached out to many different companies and got quotes. Honestly, 80% of the companies I reached out to, I had to reach out multiple times, and it was still like pulling teeth to get a quote. This company was quick to respond to me asking about additional pricing for different plows or different setups. And when I went up and talked to them and felt really confident, and after talking to them, before I actually made the final decision to actually purchase from them. So it was a long process for me before I just pulled the trigger and did it. But I'm happy in the long run. So let's talk about the final price that I paid. Total out the door price after discounts was $7,985.37. So I did get some discounts because I did buy, I actually asked for a 9-foot plow, and they gave me like a $200 or $300 discount to go with the 8'6", because they had one in stock that they wanted to get off the lot. So I ended up going with that, saved a few bucks, and it's been a really good plow so far. So I've been happy. One upgrade that I did do that they threw into the cost was the downforce, the Scrape Max that SnowEx has. Really cool technology. Once you put it in float mode, you push it down again on the controller, and it actually uses hydraulic pressure to apply more force. That helps really scrape, especially here in the Midwest where you've got ice storms, get underneath the ice and remove it from the parking lot. So been really happy and impressed with that as well. So check out the Salter video if you're interested, and thanks for watching Thrifty Garage.